Getting my blood moving has always been like a big like match ritual. Like whether it was like going to the gym or going on a run, or even if it's just a walk, like getting like the feeling of movement going on in my body was huge.
I usually spend a couple minutes playing World of Warcraft. I don't really know what it is, but I just like to kind of like roam around and just like take it easy.
Well, I always still wake up and listen to music. That's like my go-to. Wake up, listen to some nice music, get a small breakfast bite. This bagel place I found is unreal, so we're gonna probably cop another one of those bagels, you know, and then we'll be set to go. We'll be ready to go.
Orange juice. Orange juice is like, it's actually just aimbot. You drink orange juice, you have like a sugar rush.
I always shower. I don't know. I like feeling clean, and I definitely eat something.
What I like to do is I like to get on Type Racer, and I'll say what I see out loud as I type it, as like a little vocal warm up. So I'll do a vocal warm up. It's also warming up my fingers.
Like, I'm not much of an aimer, but I like to like just warm up with like some scenarios, play some. I like going in the range, drinking water, maybe getting like a coffee.
I mean, it's kind of cliche, but I think just hanging out with my teammates and getting like, not even just like a warm stream or anything, but just talking to them, just like outside the game, just like enjoying the company of my teammates and stuff like that, just kind of gets you in the zone, gets you happy to play with people.
I don't have a specific routine. I do, of course, try to get like a good amount of sleep, and then like right before the match, do like some depth matches. I wake up seldomly early, around 10 or 11. I take a walk, just to like, you know, disassociate from the game for that little like 30 minutes while I take that walk, you know, just not worry about anything.
Well, pretty much every morning I eat a bagel, but I feel like that probably has no impact on my performance. If anything, it's probably making me worse.
A close first map in this elimination series, and it was so back and forth. We didn't know for the longest time who is going to be coming out on top, but in the end, Nightblood Gaming to be taking their map pick of Pearl 13-11. Roy, when we're talking about this back and forth, it was so close. Even at this half, it was the 6-6. As soon as one team gets a little ground, the other bounces back. Like, this is what I wanted from this series.
Yeah, I think Hold Shift kind of had it down right. He's like flash dash, flash dash, flash dash for the first 6 rounds, and then we go into completely sane Valorant for the rest of the game. So it was pretty interesting to see. And absolutely, I think overall this was a pretty close match. It came down to the absolute wire. So many situations just, I mean, there's so many late round situations that could have gone either way that would have propelled this game in either direction, to be honest. But overall, it was a good display of both of these teams and the things that we've been discussing and the things that we have been highlighting with these players.
I think, too, when you're looking at elimination and the fact that this has been such a staple map for Nightblood Gaming, Ash, I was really impressed with SAD Esports. Of course, a little swap going into this, how they're able to all play together. That makes me feel confident that this could be a 3-map series, because SAD Esports, like, they were doing really well here.
Mm-hmm.
They really were. I think the synergy was looking great from both teams, but sad. There were times, especially I think with like a lot of heroic plays that we saw coming out from the multi-kills coming out from players like Dip and Tuzi, where they really made you believe in the fact that maybe they would look to take this map and have an upset here for map 1. And the nice adjustments coming out as well. We touched a little bit on the change in Sentinel that we saw for Benji, pulling out the Cypher in favor of that instead of the Vice that we had seen previously. I'd be curious to even hear from SAD if that was more of like a hard counter pick specifically going up against Alim's Neon, or if that was something that they're actually looking to integrate overall for their approach.
And something here, too, I mean, Nightblood Gaming so often, Alam's been very good with, like, the peek the angle, get the kill. But SAD Esports playing from that deficit so often here, Roy, really making it close. Looking across the board, I mean, they're great players. I didn't expect to see both controllers at top, but from the series, like, the impact was crazy.
I mean, are we surprised, though? Like, truly? I mean, Tuesday, you said it, Tuesday. I mean, it is what it is. The guy's, he's a pop-off player. He's a young star.
My joke. You stole my joke, Roy.
Listen, you were gonna choke it, so I was just gonna steal it from you. So you know what I mean?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Unbelievable.
But no, joking aside, I mean, it was a player that we really wanted to highlight. We really wanted to talk about him, but obviously there's only so much room. But now is a perfect opportunity for us to highlight the fact that he is that sort of star player controller. And when, I mean, yeah, he has not been like the complete pop-off player, but I think in the last year that he's been playing the game, his stats have been like radically improved. Overall, seems like he's sharper, he's able to make much better decisions, and overall it seems like he is performing much better.
I mean, we got to see some awesome player performances, but I actually want to go back and kind of highlight that difference in Valorant we got to see from the beginning to the end there and talk about this round 20. Because when we're looking at this Nightblood Gaming here, Ash, and kind of this approach that we got to take, this round was quite cool.
Yeah, it was a nice roundup. I picked this one because I wanted to just do a little bit of a breakdown on how NBG were looking to play together really often on the attacking side. Of course, you have the fact that lockdown comes out, pushing all the players on SAD back. And it's also opening up kind of this opportunity for, with all the chaos that's happening on site, for Huynh to try and kind of worm his way through mid. You can see him waiting very diligently for that timing, knowing that there is going to be a point where a spike gets planted. SAD is eventually going to start flooding back on site, and that's when he begins to take lockdown. And the coordination coming out from NBG for the call to actually turn into a B-Link front with these players actually on site to take advantage of this positioning as much.
This is really nice because this was at the crunch time of the game as well. So being able to see that this Nightblood Gaming squad, this is their map pick. There was quite a few times where they're kind of down that round. Being able to coordinate, keep that mental high, and be able to execute on these game plans was humongous. And we got to highlight that crunch player and go back to the conversation before these controllers of the series, because we get to see the good gameplay coming out, but also just this top performances between Huynh and Tuzi was incredible. Right, I know I was getting ahead of myself before trying to bring up these two, but this impact was crazy. Tuzi especially, that was going to be the biggest spoiler for Nightblood Gaming here if they ended up losing that series, because Tuzi was on one.
Yeah, and not to take anything away from SAD Esports, because I do genuinely feel like they played a very good game, but you have to look at the openers and wonder, okay, they got absolutely botted on the openers, like I think double almost. And then you have Tuzi, who's going 28 and 15, the only positive KD player on the team, dropping 211 ADR. We have to have a conversation of like, okay, if Tuzi wasn't on this type of level in this first map, would this even have been a close map at all, right? So the fact that Tuzi was able to keep his team even in so many rounds that were disadvantageous from the get-go, I feel like we almost have to give him credit for that success of that map, right? Now, of course, Huynh, although he has performed extremely well, it's still a pretty even between him, Boy, and Alim, who all had their moments, as well as all having great first kills and first deaths. So I think overall, yes, we have to highlight the controllers. Tuzi getting a lot of the credit for the SAT side, but on Huynh, for the NBG side, yeah, Huynh played extremely well. But overall, I feel like it was a pretty good kind of contribution from the entire team.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Everyone coming together for the end picture of things, right? But the impact was undeniable between both these. I think even Ferbs had a bit of a rough match here on Pearl, and Huynh was a big part of that. The 3 first bloods that Huynh was able to actually get was actually shutting down a lot of these initial engagements that Ferbs was looking for. And part of the reason why we also want to talk about these controllers a little bit too is heading into our second map in Abyss, we're going to see both these teams running kind of like the double controller setup. At least that's what they most recently were running. And it's actually going to be, I think it's, sorry, off the top of my head right now, I'm pretty sure Huyn's actually swapping off of the Astra. Boy's going to be taking that up, and he'll be back onto the Omen. And it'll be curious to see what those adjustments are going to look like here, because I feel like he does look really great on the Astra. Maybe a little bit more of a comfort, though, for Boy.
Yeah, I think kind of a difference in sort of the meta, which I'm sure we'll cover once we officially know what the agents will be. But I think overall the difference is one team is opting for the double orb controller, so they have the Astra Omen, that's NBG, and SAD Esports is opting more for the Astra/Viper combination. And I think that adds a slight different dynamic in how these teams are approaching it. But the one thing I do want to touch on, guys, is the fact that SAD Esports is 2-0 on this map. It has definitely looked like one of their best maps. They look quite drilled on it, and they seem to have a very clear idea of how they want to play it. But NBG, although yes, they're 50-50 on the map, they're 2-2, by the way, just for a reference. They've been comp swapping, and I feel like whenever you see teams constantly swapping comps, trying to figure out like, okay, what's working for us, it sort of is a signal that they're not ultra comfortable with the map flow, and they're not really ultra comfortable with the way they want to approach the map. So, but on that note, we have had a week off, so I imagine they're probably prepped on this map, and they've had a little bit more time to sort of iron things out. So I do expect to see a little bit more oomph coming in from the NBG side.
There have been comp swapping, but the last couple weeks in Challengers have been kind of sticking with the same. So we'll have to see as we head into the agent select if we're going to have another week of changing things up a little bit, or if it's upon approving what we know. What I'm looking at for Nightblood Gaming, especially now up 1 in the series, with Alum as this duelist is we've gotten to see before it's this Jet, which is sometimes a little hit or miss for him. On a good day, this Jet is crazy. Bad days, well, you know, it's a little rough. So going up now against the Yoru Ferbza Ash on Fat Esports end, I'm excited to see how this pairs up.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see this head-to-head, right? Very different play styles when you're looking at it. Alim is on that kind of like a go, go, go energy with a lot of those like gap closer agents. And Ferbza can be the same way, but you're going to see a bit of a different approach from both these teams. And I think that even though you're highlighting the duelist, that also does go back to that controller conversation that we're having. For an NBG, you have the Omen coming in because it's a lot easier. He's probably going to be one of the best tools to actually set a limb up with that paranoia to get in. So it allows that a bit more of like that aggression. Meanwhile, for Sad Esports, you're looking at more of that disruptive kind of play, a little bit more default piece, try and get the most use out of Zerona's Viper and those lurk up.
Yeah, and I think the final note that I want to touch on as well, building on what you just said, is the fact that it honestly, just like on a complete eye test, it does feel like Sad Esports has just a little bit more utility to work off of, having the extra 2 flashes with Yoru as well as the Yoru ult. That feels like it's a little bit more combative, whereas really the only tool that NBG does have, like you said, is the Omen flash, which is going to add a little bit of layers into how these teams will approach the executes and the defenses.
Well, it's time to see if that's going to be the difference maker, those extras. Strix up their sleeves as we head into Abyss, as of course, Sad Esports fighting for the opportunity to take this to a 3rd map and try to avoid eliminations. Back over to your casters, Marks and Shifts. Take it away.
Thank you, friends. Yeah, and if the indications that we got from map 1 are going to persist throughout this series, buckle up, friends. Pop some of the corn and get ready to sit down and enjoy some nitty-gritty Valorant. I think the question will be tempo here. I mean, I don't assume we're going to get the same kind of level that we did from what we had at Pearl, simply due to the fact that we are running double controllers here. I think for a lot of people, me included, you kind of look at Viper more as kind of Sentinel-esque, just based on the fact that they're just dominating space by setting everything ahead of time. But I'm really, I think, interested to see what Ferbza and what Ellen can get away with here and how much they're going to try to get away with. Maybe the better question mark.
Yeah, I mean, just taking a look at Sad Esports composition and how they like to play things, I mean, historically, they are extremely dominant on attack. And I think that, especially too, bringing a Viper in, which you don't see super often onto Abyss, to me, it says that we're just moving more into the distraction. But you know what? Already 3 members down. Sad Esports, this pistol round, not like the rest.
Nope. You can keep talking on that previous point if you want. This round should be over. Well, it's nice to say that, but you've got a couple low HP pools. Could be opportunities that come through. Little opportunity here as Zerona, oh boy, just drops the wall right in the waiting arms of a number of defenders. Say the combination of a gravity vortex and a shear is also a little deadly, especially for Razor behind his pick. Benji will be the last one left. So continue on your point.
Well, Benji's going to attempt to do something. Don't know how much Benji's going to be able to do, especially to the flood out here. And once again, the big thing that I'm going to be taking a look at, usually the Tejo is what you would expect to see, but it's all about the disruptive type of chaotic gameplay. Sad Esports' composition, you know, you're going to be dropping a lot of smokes, taking off a lot of sight lines, make things a little bit more closer, and then Ferbza is going to be over here, maybe over there, who knows? All the while, a recon dart can be tossed out on top so you know where all your enemies are. This feels like a composition built mostly towards just the denial of information and being able to capitalize off of it since you're the ones who are controlling that. But of course, you know, you gotta keep a couple of members alive instead of them all getting gunned down on mid right at the start of the round for a lot of that to happen.
Great firing squad through middle. So a potent purchase here for NBG. Outlaw, 2 Bulldog, Spectre and a Sheriff. Other side, it's Plastic. Corona, we'll see if they can pop off with the 1 Sheriff for now. Wall's going to divide most of the entryway in toward, but Wind just does not care. Like, you can pop that wall if you want to. Throws the dark cover, and this is going to be contact likely with Fireball behind, ready to go. Oh, that's opening shots from Win. Fireball, Razorvine giving him some space to work with, and now you've got Alum over the top. And this is likely going to come to a very anticlimactic finish, although I say that, and there's a little pop-off right for Fireball getting 3.
Can't do that one with the Stinger. That one's all out there for you Stinger gamers. And yeah, look, there's a little teaser for Vise. Wow, who would have seen that agent coming?
Well, if you've watched Champions, a lot of it.
Crazy. But no, once again, like Nightblood Gaming, it was hard for SAD Esports to really accomplish anything on that round there. But at the very least, they're able to scoop up the ultimate orb. FERPSA now only 3 away from getting the dimensional drift online. And especially too, once again, with a lot of smokes being tossed up, the dimensional drift works excellently because you got the position of where they are. You can just kind of spray them down through the smokes. It's pretty easy that way. But right now, what I'm really taking a look at is Alem anchoring down that middle. The Duelist alone has been doing a fantastic job at making sure that no one from SAD can engage there.
Oh, nice contact. FERPSA drops Serona, able to follow up. So we stay 4v4 early. Alem trying to win middle of the map. Oh, just sees the top of the ponytail. It's a character model diff. But Dip, through the smoke, just kind of spamming away. Takes down the final defender in B. Aldrone to try to clear a little bit more space to allow Serona to play a little bit deeper. And simultaneously, Benji does clear out mid again. This will lead to a plant.
Spike planted.
Valorant timing at its finest. Suddenly, just down to a 1v3 as Benji closes it out onto Boy. And once again, we're talking about the power of Benji on these flanks, being flank watch, being so annoying for Nightblood Gaming. And that round was just an excellent demonstration of that.
Love it. Love to see it so far. Have not seen the Yoru have an impact as of yet, but plenty of valid play. I think in particular, this little pop-off, you thought that win was going to be a little late to the party. And then, yeah, just the top of the Astra ponytail shows. And then, yep, again, as Wayne Gretzky once said, you miss all the shots you don't take. May as well spam through the smoke. It works out nicely to kind of turn the tides, and now we go into our full gun round.
Yeah, and one thing, too, talking about that Yoru, like, FERPSA has just been having a really tough match. We've talked a little bit about the impact that FERPSA brings, just being in such an oppressive duelist at finding so many kills in these weird situations, but just simply hasn't been able to get online as of yet. And you know Nightblood Gaming are happy about that.
Oh, mercy. Ronan just playing with a little bit of elevation, catch Alem over peaking as the battle for mid, based on just utility usage, was won by Nightblood, but Alem just kind of overstepped. Now all of a sudden, you've got SAD Esports on the precipice of trying to break into the V site with Win, still playing the same angle he had last round.
Yeah, and Quinn can just do an excellent job at spraying things, making it be under more or less controlled while Kess holds this off angle. That's a fake out, don't worry. Not seeing one of those just quite yet, but now Quinn in a bad spot.
That hurts. Down is the armor. Paranoid does get sent down. Defense is trying to pickle at it, but no. Benji through the smoke once again does connect. Kess has to commit forward, and there's just nowhere to go. So it'll be a 5v2 situation. Fireball now the last one left. Oh, they will find one for free, but FERPSA, I don't know if we had his perspective. Must just broke his wrist with that flick.
Yeah, an excellent little headshot to get the Ferb back into the driving seat. FERPSA definitely needs just a little bit more of that confidence to go online, but it's so funny, Shift. I was talking about how, yeah, you got a lot of stuff to play through your smokes. You get the location, you can just spray through. And these rounds, I mean, we're just seeing them just tap through the smoke, and somehow Nightblood Gaming players are on the other side and falling down. And so these smokes have really been the defining factor for SAD Esports. So far, at least.
Yeah.
As this time, we're actually seeing Benji try and contest middle a little bit more against Alem, who has traditionally been moving up pretty frequently here.
Not ready yet.
Trying to get reveal off the Rose. Not really much to be concerned with if you're Nightblood, and Alem's actually going to step up, take away a lot of space, will allow the defense to stack their resources a bit more, and they're going to choose, well, at least initially over towards B. Boy has 1 star to play off of. Currently placed at the choke point. Rotating over is Cat. Alem, the timing here is going to be everything. Oh, hi, how are you? Don't mind me, I'm part of your team, I totally swear. Ah! Classic things.
Wow.
Shock Dart does get bounced into FERPSA though, so at least there are 2 eliminations to count.
That is such a heads-up play and great communication, great knowledge of what to do from Alem on that situation. Make sure that Kess gets the next one. You see a couple of headshots and then the shock bolt finishes it up. Zorota going to be on the other side of the shear.
Fireball timing with Zerona. Oh my goodness. And oh my goodness. Just the smallest of angles. Zerona walks away with a double, and it's a wide open B site for the spike to rotate into.
Yeah, now they should be able to get that plant nice and easy. Plenty of time to get their post plant set up. Of course, though, we do have Kess and Boy coming in. We're seeing them go for this hard flank. Benji is already over there, so maybe watching the angle at the right time, but they're going to have to be careful about this one because these two players do have rifles in their hands.
Indeed they do. Viper's Pit was earned with that plant, but not being elected to use. Big first contact. And better from Benji. Woo! Yeah, Benji stepping up in a major way. 3-2, an early edge here for SAD Esports. Viper's Pit, again, also, as we mentioned, earned Steel Garden at the ready for both sides as well to keep tally up.
Just imagine that ultimate combination there. You get the Viper's Pit up, and then, you know, they're all coming in, and it's just like, all right, well, goodbye your primary weapons, I guess. So annoying, but once again, like, SAD Esports on this attack, things have been looking really good for them. We do have a little bit of a tech pause in front of us right now. But still, what a heads-up play that we're seeing on this replay there to allow the shock bolt just to fly off and finish off Ferbsa. And really, this has just been kind of Zerona doing a fantastic job at being at the right place at the right time and finding a couple of kills to make sure that SAD have a spot. Last map, we were really highlighting Tuzi as being that clutch up player for SAD, somehow able to find multi-kills after multi-kills. And thus far on this map, that has really just like that power from Tuzi has transferred over into Zerona. And Zerona has been doing an excellent job at keeping SAD in the running every single round.
And it is interesting because I think you hit it appropriately. It's not often we see Viper on this map. And I won't really say with like any definition that like the Viper utility is what's causing some of the success that Zerona's individually finding. Like, yeah, we've seen a snake bite or two land in good spots. The Viper's walls that have been popped up have allowed SAD Esports to kind of break down the site to touch. It's just not in the way that I think I would have assumed it. Like, we're not seeing follow-up with Yoru with that, where like you drop out a wall on one side, you flash out another, and then you push into it. We're really not getting that type of combination. It's more just been, we're going to set the battleground the way we want to, and then we're just going to find contact. A lot of it happening kind of forward into the choke point. The opening rounds were determined by what was happening at mid, but a lot of these opening battles have been between like Quinn and Boy kind of like on opening corners, just trying to play shoulders. It hasn't really been like utility breakdown executes that have been necessary at SAD Esports.
Yeah, like the Viper wall is honestly reminding me of Lotus. Like, you know how everyone throws down that Viper wall? Oh, are they on the other side of there? I don't know. And that conditioning is still happening. And that's been allowing Zerona to be able to take so much space onto that A site and get into those kind of nifty positions there. This time, though, NBG, they're going fast outside of B.
Oh, but the paranoia doesn't land. And Ferbsa will find first blood revealed. The follow-up is good from Malin, who does get a control over towards this top corner in nest, and Fireball is just teeing him up and letting him rip. That will shut down a lot of the play, leaving Zerona now the last one left, 1v2. Spike is recoverable.
Yeah, and Zerona does have that spike now. Fireball ops definitely not done yet. Playing off of this conditioning Viper wall, but going to be in a very awkward spot here, given Fireball on the other side.
Yep. Big round from Fireball. A couple in a row now, all of a sudden, as Fireball has found 3. Get this tied up at 3, and they say good things come in 3. So we'll see what we get, as there will be full purchase still available for SAD Esports. The same will also occur for Alim, as he will have knives with the shorty. And we still have the Dimensional Drift ready for Ferbsa. A bit odd, considering that you usually see Yoru's, as soon as they earn it, we're going to use it, because you want to get as many as possible to essentially guarantee you free execute. But not the case yet.
Yeah, and I wonder, too, just how much of that SAD Esports were just not expecting that flood out there. We know that Nightblood Gaming, when they take that initiative, for lack of better terms, they usually come out on top. Oh, no, not the shorty.
They always say, don't bring knives to a gunfight. Doesn't make a difference if it's a shorty or not. Pinstripe kill feed, back and forth we go to a 3v3. Nice long-range shots initially from Cass, but Tuzi responds. So it's just down to Boy. 1v2, the Dimensional Drift was popped. They obviously did not make much of a difference because it was aggression from NBG, but we'll see what we get here as Boy will slink his way up the flank.
And it still is 2v1, like you said. One more flash still, or sorry, not a flash, a gate crash still available for Ferbsa. To just throw a little bit of confusion while Boy slowly makes his way up.
Together though on the corner. Re-wrap it back up top. Uzi has the ability to drop the star and use gravity vortex if they need it. Floppy Furbza. Boy's gonna try. There's the gravity vortex. Get off my spike, please. Gate crash. Thrown as a bit of a decoy. Second star gets pulled. There's the Nova Pulse. Thank you very much. It's just Asher things out of post plan. 4-3 to count, clean stuff for that.
Yeah, the point that I was going to make was it felt like Nightblood Gaming, when they catch SAD Esports on the back foot, they're not expecting on what to do, that we just see them absolutely rip and tear them apart. But SAD Esports, I mean, you could tell that time they bought shorties. They're like, all right, do it again. I dare you. And that's exactly what happened. We see the Nightblood flood out and immediately just get punished on it. And honestly, just a great reaction coming out from SAD. When they're caught off guard, that's when you start to see a lot more holes in their strategy. And sure, just rushing out of that B site on your defense is a good way to try and exploit those kind of gaps in their attack. However, you can't consistently rely on that strategy if you want to be able to consistently win out these rounds. And so just Nightblood Gaming, they're taking a timeout now. I'm curious what they're talking about to continue to try and vary things up on SAD Esports, because you know, the definition of insanity is when you do the same thing and expect a different result.
Exactly. And there's going to be some level of conversation on what they want to do with their purchase here in this round, mostly because you've got, I think on the server, I think there's 9 ultimates that are ready going into this next round. I think the Dimensional Drift is the only thing that's not available. May have been another one that I missed because I'm old and my eyes aren't so good, but we'll see if that's going to be any part of the consideration. Like, can we possibly force buy with these ultimates, try to get this game a little bit more level? Looks like the answer is going to be no. Just Sheriff, 1 Guardian, Outlaw, Bucky. So yeah, kind of. You've got those that can't afford going into something, but it is just largely light armors. Nguyen's going to try to step up with this dark cover, not faked out whatsoever, and then steps in and whips his shot. An opportunity missed, and Furbza collapses onto 2.
And this is where SAD start to get dangerous. Furbza starting to come online a little bit more, and that's got to be scary if you're Nightblood Gaming, as Furbza finds 3.
Why even bother trying to peek that if you're Alim, though? Like, you're stuck in a smoke. You've got no help anywhere nearby. We're just dry peeking into a 1v question. Again, not the biggest of deals, because this round was not one you thought would be winnable in the first place, unless there was hero plays from Win. And all that would be tallied is a single outlaw shout from Boy. So SAD Esports, small edge here through 8, but full purchase on the way for NBG, and they, again, still are holding on to almost every single ultimate.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of visual clutter on this round shift. I'm going to be honest, because very much if you're Nightblood Gaming, this is the round that you need to win. This is going to help stabilize your economy, bring things back for you. This is the one that you want to invest those ultimates in. Make sure that you've got a better chance at surviving. And then on the flip side, if you're SAD Esports, we got to make sure that their economy is not going to be good. So let's use all of our ultimates to make sure that they can't go. I'm going to be expecting the entire barrel being tossed in on this round.
The order is going to be important here, as it will start with Dimensional Drift and the Steel Garden. Furbza has to dodge his own teammates, Hunter's Fury, but it still works out for 1. Win trying to hold his ground, shut down by Furbza. And it's been absolutely perfect in terms of how an execute works out. NBG may need to consider saving.
And look at that. They only need to really use 2 ultimates to make sure that it's going to be a win. Excellent play off of SAD. We get to see the Dimensional Drift just go for that scout out, so then Dip knows exactly where to aim the Hunter's Fury, guarantees a kill right off the bat, and then somehow Furbza, still alive with just a sliver of HP, finds 2 more defenders on that site. And it forces Nightblood Gaming's hand to just kind of hold back and chill. While SAD expend only 2 ultimates, and they've still got 3 moving into that next round.
Yeah, that's a really big, like, ultimate economy point. Like, this is going to be 6-3, likely 7-3, because the defense will just be holding on to 2 rifles. You would have to have some hero rifle moments with ultimate if there were to be some sort of cause for kind of a, I won't call it a full-on eco round, but an upset round is, wait a second, this is starting to get pretty punishing, but the chase down is more worthwhile for SAD. So back to the point, 6-3, likely to be 7-3, and most importantly is for NBG, that's just canceling out rounds where it's just like, well, we can't really use these ultimates unless we find kills in the first place. So it just delays the game a little bit longer for NBG.
Yeah, and I mean, what you were saying there too, where it's like, oh, this is becoming a lot more expensive for SAD. At that point, it's worth it, just simply because you want to slap any of those weapons out of the hands of any of those Nightblood Gaming players. You don't even want to, like you said, you need to find a couple of kills to make sure that those ultimates are going to be good. Those kills can come a lot cleaner if they've got rifles. So just an excellent chase down coming through from Sad as Alim already pushing so far with the Sheriff.
I love this, though. You can keep focus towards where Quinn has been playing, which is on the other side of the ledge, and that works out absolutely beautiful. The Sheer able to allow the isolation, and that changes the conversation nearly completely. I say nearly, though, because Sad Esports are really sending Zerona on a solo mission. Everything else is heading over towards B. Cosmic Divide to be part of this initial attempt. Gravity Vortex holding it off for a moment. The gate crash allows Burbsa to get in, but only for so long. We gotta get the aim labs, boy. You gotta have that one. Tess trying to follow up. Hunter's Fury will connect onto one, but the spike gets planted.
I can't believe that those shots missed. That could have been instrumental in Nightblood being able to survive here. It's tough, but still Nightblood Gaming 4v4 here, as that's going to be all the primaries out of their hands.
Well, not fully all of them, because Aylin is around the back and has broken the timing. Win up top just worked with the Sheriff, and this has gone all awry for Sad Esports. So, yeah, I mean, it starts really with just the opener from Aylin, shuts down the rogue play going through B. Missed opportunity for Boy, but no further mistakes as Nightblood do secure the round.
And that's so interesting coming in from Sad Esports there. Understanding that your opponent still has those ultimates online, you would have expected them to spread themselves out a little bit more or try and take a little bit more space, make sure that the Steel Garden does not get as much value as it did. And yet they all just kind of hung out decisively. They do like playing off of one another, and so that's maybe why we saw that. But like sharks to a drop of blood and water, Nightblood Gaming, they completely swarm in onto the site and are able to find their kills, finding them that 4th round in this half.
I also know our replay operator sitting there curling his mustache going, showing all the missed Sheriff shots. Bad manners. But
you know, you gotta do it to them when they do that.
Oof. Good catch, Zerona. Good first blood. That puts a ton of stress on this defense because a lot of them have committed forward, including Alim, just touched over towards the top side at mid. Fireball op is going to look to try to counteract any play through B by sitting deep through mid. Tuzi's in the neighborhood. Help on the way. Contact made, and Alim is going to back off.
Ooh. Oh, Fireball almost finds something there, too.
Oh, my gosh. They're just not leaving there, Mards. They're not leaving. Alim's able to get himself another. Trades back and forth, but the numbers amount to a 2v2, and the spike is now down top side mid.
Yeah, and this is kind of tough. I mean, to be fair, Zerona's still alive, does have a Viper's Pit, but I'm more curious about what they're going to do to try and get that spike back, because it's just on the other side of the Cosmic Divide. I think we're going to be seeing Furbsa just go for the Dimensional Drift, grab it, teleport back, and suddenly they will be able to set up on B. Already, though, Kess is getting set up into B heaven.
And the other side of this is Boy is behind the play. So yes, the Dimensional Drift will work out to get on towards site. Cass surely saw that, and yeah, they know exactly where Furbsa is. You don't have to overchild this for Cass. Furbsa trying to force it. What a challenge from Furbsa. The clock now becoming a bit of an issue. Has to stick for the plant. Resets things. But where is Boy? He's behind you. Furbsa, little ring around the rosy. They trade sides. Who finds who first? Does he hear the jump up? Oh, now they've seen it. Boy has not the same information, and initially it's sloppy, but Burbs will catch 4 plus the 1v2 clutch.
Oh, man. Well, I was on the edge of my seat there. It could have gone either way, and honestly, just excellent recovery from Sad Esports. I mean, you talk about Nightblood Gaming just being so aggressive on their defense, pushing out, and I think really it was so that it would keep the attention of Sad, allowing the Omen, who had teleported all the way back behind them, to find a couple of excellent timings to make it so much more difficult. It was a nifty idea, and yet still Nightblood Gaming, they commit to that forward hold and catch Sad off guard. And so it's up to the heroics and honestly just brilliance coming in between the players on Sad Esports to clutch back that round. Furbsa is activated, and this is what you want to see if you're a Sad Esports fan.
Knives are in play early. Little pop flash coming out of Furbsa. Win playing off the elevation this time has a smoke for cover, and it gets popped immediately as he makes first contact. Furbsa has to kind of hold his ground just a touch. Smoke gets replaced, and the offense will have to hit pause button for the moment. Whoa, what a reveal.
That's so much information, too. And I wonder, too, like, does Furbsa just try and bait out the sheer with the fake and hope that it, you know, That's going to be enough to be able to win out the round without that piece of utility. Dip has the spike and is plunking a lot of utility in there. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's just Astras on the other side of the walls. No one really moving in to take any more additional space.
Yeah, nothing feels comfortable right now for SAD Esports on the map. You're hoping for some sort of a cheeky pick towards B. That's not allowed to happen. They get isolated contact here, boy. Check the corner. Oh my goodness, boy, not again! No! Someone didn't get his warm-ups in today. Shock dart, recon dart, Test still holding the line for the defense to rotate behind this. Contact made, Ferbsa finds the win. Alim not good on it as the Razor Vine will push him off, and this should lead to a plant.
And nice and easy now. It will be this 3v4 retake here. Alim not necessarily with the right weaponry in hand, but there definitely still is a chance. Not a lot of utility left after no expended.
Yeah, Standard is forced in the gunfight. And that's enough for Benji to come away with 2. Ferbsa finds the 3rd and final, and SAD Esports. A really solid offensive half, and it comes in a rather unorthodox way. Ferbsa slow to get activated, but once he was, he hit 3-dimensional drifts in the back like 7 rounds. So 8 for the count here as he swaps the side.
Yeah, I was about to compliment SAD Esports on how they want to play with those dimensional drifts, and now it's all making sense. On that round 2, we saw out of all of the agents who were around, they let Ferbsa be the one to take the orb. And that's because they're so comfortable on some of these executes. Honestly, Boy has been having a very tough map right now, and that feels like it is the opening door for SAD Esports to continue to thrive. But now we're going to be swapping sides here. Nightblood Gaming going to be on the attack while SAD Esports are on the defense. And looks like Nightblood Gaming, they're still very interested in mid. This time though, SAD Esports, they're not going to be clashing as hard on that previous pistol round.
It's important to know statistically for all of you nerds out there that both teams have preferred the offensive side in the history of them playing this map. Of course, with just one instance for SAD. 4 different playthroughs in this stage for Nightblood. Offense has been better for them pretty much characteristically throughout every single one of their matches, as we've got a nice start here for Nightblood. Opening 2 picks go their way, and it's a very early 5v3.
Seems like Nightblood Gaming are just the kings of mid here. And I don't mean that in their ability to play just middle of the pack. I mean, they're really good at taking middle control. As soon as it left my mouth, I'm like, I need to clarify this one. Regardless, Zerona and Benji now moving up. Fireball Ops find the timing, but Benji able to find the trade.
More QQ, a little less QQ coming through mid. But Spike will make its way safely on towards B. Post plant will be pretty dynamic as well, with Boy playing deep. Got a double stack a little bit more safely on the site. It's going to be a double swing here. Flashes out thanks to the Rose. Benji is able to convert onto that. Boy didn't really stand a chance. But how do you get this breakdown? That's the big question here. You do have 1 star. That's going to be placed over towards the top. And yeah, you've got an easy crossfire setup here. Suzy tries to make his way over. Not going to be allowed to, as Alim is able to find 3.
Yeah, nice easy setup given the numbers already off the bat. Nightblood Gaming just so aggressive on mid, able to just shut down SAD Esports. And yeah, you can tell they're feeling nice and confident. Despite just that pistol round, we're going to be seeing 2 Vandals coming in here. If I did that in my ranked lobbies, I'd probably be told that I was throwing. But regardless, Nightblood Gaming, especially Alim, has really started to turn up the heat a bit more. And so I think that that level of confidence could be what start to bring Nightblood Gaming back into this map. This is still a very winnable scenario just with that 8-4 half.
Yeah, and I think the other part about this is, you know, every time we talk about Euro on defense, roll, that's blessed. It really does come down to, like, as SAD Esports start to develop a defense with weapons, you need to get the information sooner rather than later. If Ferbs is going to be trying to play with, like, gate crashes off of spawn to know which site he has to be on, because let's be candid, it's not easy to rotate on this map, even if you are playing as Yoru. So there's going to be an opportunity here for NBG as they will catch out Ferbsa. Again, the weaponry just superior, so you expect this result comes down to how cleanly can Nightblood make.
And you know what? Let's just take a moment to be like, hey, that was good, boy. You didn't miss that one. Able to find the kill onto Ferbsa, especially too going up against the duelist like Ferbsa, who is known for characteristically hitting a couple of heads. So an excellent job just shutting down that Yoru on the 2nd round with that superior weaponry as, yeah, Tuzi just on the other side of this silencer, just fireball ops, running it down. You usually don't see the Sentinel doing that, but regardless, the spike is now down for Nightblood Gaming.
I will say Fireball has had a really good series to this point. been really solid for NBG. Of course, we largely get our attention stolen by the duelist, and rightfully so, based on how the first map, early parts of this one have been determined. But Fireball's been good, Benji's been good. The Sentinels largely have won a handful of rounds. Oh my goodness. No words needed, but it's still a flawless round for Nightblood.
Just maybe a couple of head shakes there. And good thing we're not on camera, because otherwise you could have seen a couple of those. But regardless, you know, they close the door. That's what's important here. We're going to be moving on to this next one, where it's not looking pretty on both sides. Obviously, this is a little bit more of an impact on SAD, especially given the fact that this is going to be the supposed round where they should be able to light up their full weaponry. We're seeing quite a few of them come in here with their half shields, and that's not going to be fantastic, especially with the carryover that Nightblood Gaming can do. So it's a full bonus for them, and those weapons are still very effective against SAD.
The Razor going to be placed over through mid as Nightblood are going to try to get something through bottom. Recon dart that gets sent out maybe too deep. Oh, what a flash of Burpton. Does it make a difference? The team shots are just too good. And it ends up being an exchange that favors Nightblood. The Sheer tried to come out late, doesn't make a difference. And you've got an early 4v2 just like that.
Wow, I thought the timing there, the pounce that SAD had was excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like Nightblood Gaming, like a firing squad. All of them were just looking at the exact same target, and some of those bullets are definitely going to catch their targets, and just all the SAD members collapsed. Nightblood Gaming very solidly taking that mid presence yet again, while 2Z goes down, so it's up to Benji in this very awkward scenario of a 1v4. This is not how you wanted your first rifling round to start if you're SAD Esports.
And I don't know if we can get a replay of that breakdown, but I thought initially with the recon bolt being sent out, plus the flash that comes out from the blind side of
30
Fursa,
seconds left.
it looked like Nightblood Gamer were getting caught by surprise, but they get all flashed and they just go, ah! And just hold down the trigger, and Fursa just gets melted. And then we shake off the status effect and you find the follow-up. I mean, it really did look like SAD Esports had the perfect read on that.
Shift, you got to give me a heads up when you're going to do that next
Sorry.
time. That made me jump.
Well, that's what they did. They always like, wow, he's there.
Oh my goodness, Valorant. Oh, scary game. Whoa, jump scare. But yeah, I mean, all signs were really pointing that SAD should have been able to win that fight. And I think that this is going to be something that they're going to pay a little bit more attention to in these further rounds. The fact that Nightblood Gaming have been doing such a good job at capturing mid, now comes the question, we just tried to reinforce it with more of our agents. Do we just give mid up for free and really just try and pressure the two sides and hope that we can hold on to something there? Or are we going to invest more resources to deny Nightblood Gaming from getting what they so desperately want?
Yeah, it's a really difficult question to answer too, right? Because like, again, you feel like if you were to go back and rewatch that round, it's just like we hit utility perfectly. We just got threaded. So it's tough scenes, and it does pose like a mental taxation that you're going to have to consider as we eventually get back to a gun round. The other thing to keep in mind here, because of how clean that Nightblood have been in these first 3 rounds, they are going to be up not just in their pockets, but they're also going to have ultimates a lot faster as well. And here it is. Yeah, this is a perfect look at it. Boom. Oh, I guess a lot of them do counter flash it. You didn't see it initially. All I saw was the giant flashing white spark above their heads, but a lot of them do kind of pull away from the flash, but still definitely a panic moment where you're whipping the mouse around.
And look at that. We see now Furpsa just use a little bit more utility down middle and take all that space and immediately just back out of there just to fake that presence. So Nightblood Gaming are walking into the site, and so many members of SAD Esports are on the other side.
Trying to get the Rose hit, doesn't fully work out, and well, NBG just hit the firing range at range. Awkward tension. Benji able to find one. Down to 5 HP, making this a little bit more expensive and, more importantly, a little bit more winnable. Because he's going to have an exit available, but there's contact here. Win. Oh! Good timing. Able to take down 2Z, no reinforcements. Benji's down to 5 HP.
And this round should be done and dusted. Quinn just holding this angle outlaw in hand. Yep, does it. And just like that, Nightblood Gaming, 4 rounds in a row now, are able to tie things up against SAD Esports. And, you know, like you said, both these teams tend to be a little bit more attacker favored, and we're seeing a little bit of a masterclass being put on by Nightblood Gaming. Very much so, SAD Esports are going to use their second timeout because they still have not found a solution. This is going to be their rifling round. They don't want it to just end, even though they played so extremely well, and you just push out and get shredded. Like, that is extremely demoralizing, like you said. And so they really have to just take this time to strategize and figure out what is going to work for them, because otherwise, like, you know, they're facing elimination. Nightblood Gaming are in a spot to just win out this map. And just like that, poof, there go all of SAD's hopes and dreams in this split.
The other really interesting thing, kind of getting back to our initial conversation from the agent select about the Viper, outside of the Viper wall cutting deep through mid, the defense at B really haven't been playing behind the Viper wall. Like, a couple of rounds, yes, but it's been odd, I think, to see them not, like, using that as a delay tactic. Like, NBG have been finding a lot of free execute towards B, mostly because there's been first blood contact in front of the wall or before the wall's even close to being triggered. Like, you could arc throws behind the wall. You've got razor vines that could be placed as well to help stall things out. Like, B should not be this free. And I think that has to be something that SAD Esports need to talk about, because it feels like Ferbsa wants to play aggressively, and often he's taken somebody with him to play off the ledge, and then that means that that Viper's wall is essentially not even there.
Well, should be able to back out of this one. Alem, though, so aware.
Oh, saw one up top. Razorvine does get triggered, and this is much better coming through. Ferbsa able to get out of dodge. Boy still trying to hang around a little bit longer inside the smoke. But Zorona is fully healthy, and that little shoulder may have revealed that NBG are still sticking to this play. Flashes out, really good counterplay coming through, and SAD Esports will clean up, and finally we get a stable defense around the B zone.
And you were talking about that wall, and I think that the wall kind of worked out this time, because you see the wall kind of come up, and Ferbsa ahead of the wall kind of catches people off guard. There's a little bit of a panic moment of Alem just dashing in so deep, but the rest of the squad not being able to follow up because they're scared of knowing what's going on. And then that's when you just see all of that Vi's utility just immediately get triggered, and Alem's in the middle of a meat grinder. So, like you said, SAD doing a good job that time around. You see Nightblood Gaming also feigning a little bit of presence on mid, trying to make SAD think that they are going to consistently hit mid. And this time, they might actually hit mid. So that is still one of the main points. Notice SAD have opted for the strategy of just ignoring mid. There's nobody there except a shear. And when that shear activates, that's good information. That is where Nightblood Gaming are going.
You also got to keep in mind that SAD Esports, I was like, they can play passive behind this A side if they feel threatened, because Dimensional Drift would be good for retake better. You do collect onto Boy. So now the Cosmic Divide's off the table. Your ability to play Stars is off the table. And your only real initiation is largely going to be off of the back end of a Paranoia, because you really don't have the recon bolt at the moment, and the Owl Drone is going to be obviously very, very easy to read. As there's a little moment of contact here, topside A-Link, but ends in nothing, and it'll stay 5v4.
Dimensional Drift going to be activated from Ferbsa. At this point, you're just trying to look for a little bit more information. The crunch is coming onto this A site, but they're watching it. So aware of what's going on. Alem gets spotted.
Alem, missed opportunity there, so topside at A will be controlled for SAD Esports on this retake attempt. Garden out, timing here, not ideal, but what a shock dart, holy cow. And that's wait a second, Heskin back out of the site here. Wins full HP and can try to hold. Hunter's Fury's at the ready to stop any defuse. This is still winnable. Can Hwin stop the chase down though? No. And so now it's just down to Kess. Good first shots. Flash, mostly countered, but Ferbs is holding the corner, and Zorona will hold for the defuse. No chance for that Hunter's Fury to be popped. A moment of pop-off for the shock dart, but the round goes to SAD.
And I cannot stress how impactful Zorona finding that kill was to make sure that SAD win that defense. If Zorona was not there and with the rest of the squad moving up onto Kess, then simply Hwin would have been able to just melt him. They had no idea that Omen was going to be there, and that would have just been a terrible way for that round to have ended. Honestly, Nightblood really wrestling back to try and win that round out, but SAD just a little bit better. An incredible shock bolt to be able to find two people almost winning the map back. So great round coming in from Nightblood Gaming, but not enough to let them win out that round. Now we're seeing, once again, Cosmic Divide going to be utilized here. From the shadows gets popped as well to scout out where these agents are hiding.
They get the reveal. Aljo mostly shut down. Nova Pulse also being spent here, but it doesn't really connect. Hunter's Fury, the last really effort to break down this defense, and Tess has come up empty. So the idea of trying to find a first blood by way of utility goes awry, and now there's a major advantage for the defense as Dip can rotate late over towards A. More importantly, they don't clear the site. The Razor Vine, so deadly. Tuzi comes away with 2.
That's so impactful, and now the spike is in such a hard position. Alem going to be the first one to move in.
Contact here leads to a little bit of damage, but no, not going to happen. The doors are shut on this play, and now Ferbsa is sniffing out your backside. What? Pause. Coming from behind. Pause. Just finding a way to hit the flank. And there he is.
Oh.
Reveals it easily. Just down now to Cass. He is stuck between every piece of this sad defensive puzzle. And mercy me, he is in the low of herd. As well to catch 2, but nothing more.
Okay. Nice.
Excellent job from Kess, honestly. But once again, the hero of that round, Tuzi. Like you said, not cleared out of the site. You could tell the confidence that Nightblood Gaming were playing with. They've gone onto that A site, get that spike down. Things are looking great. And suddenly Tuzi just kind of 2 steps to the side and boom, headshot, and then spray down, denying the spike, making it an impossible position for Nightblood Gaming to be able to rescue that spike and get the plant down. You know, similar story on the other side now. 3 rounds in a row for SAD Esports. And Nightblood Gaming are going to be calling this time out. They will be able to buy up rifles into this next round, but the ultimate bank from SAD Esports is much more fortified. Things are starting to really turn around for SAD after their last time out. Let's see how Nightblood Gaming can respond.
Yeah, I mean, this is, if you purchase into this one, this is the game coming up in this next round here for Nightblood Gaming. And it has been, I think, just really interesting to see how quickly the defense has come around. Some of it by way of ultimates, sure, but largely it's just by staying a little bit more passive, just not forcing these opening first blood engagements. Like, again, like in front of the Viper's wall, in front of things like the Rose. Like, use the utility that your agents have. So it's going to be 3 rifles. This is a interesting purchase because Boy could definitely buy, and I'm sure he will here in a second. Fireball may opt to get something small, and it's going to be purchased by Boy for a Guardian. So, yeah, this is essentially the game right here. Bank pockets are going to be low for Nightblood. This has got to have to be a win.
Flash placed.
And already you can see Nightblood Gaming, they go for the Arc Rose a little bit earlier on just to try and flash things out in case SAD Esports decide to go for a little bit more aggression. So they're doing a good job at responding. But they want that ultimate orb as flood out comes from the defense. SAD, they pressure them back, but nobody spots a single soul between these 2 squads.
Yeah, but it does get them over into the main. You have to pre-clear this, and yep, forced to teleport back. So nothing gained, nothing lost for either side. Just a little bit of utility on both sides. But this has allowed, with that little bit of intel, Quinn can sneak a little bit deeper through mid. You can trigger the shear at mid. It may force the defense to be a little bit more cautious about what's happening right down Main Street.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see how this reaction goes because we actually see Alem also taking a little bit of space closer towards A. The shear does go up, and yeah, responsibly, Benji going to be backing off to make sure to watch that angle. And I think at this point, Nightblood Gaming, they're aware that they just get mid for free, and it's going to be a crunch on one of these sites. That's what SAD are gambling on.
Now, if they can, this is everything right here. What happens as Benji eventually loses the cover of this smoke?
Wall trip.
Oh, the Guardian. No, mercy. That fortifies the B site completely. But look how deep NBG are going to get around the backside. Hey, may not make a difference, though, because Ferbsa holding forward has stopped the spike from being able to rotate, and now Tuzi's in your way. Oh, goodness gracious. Time is going to likely run out on this round. NBG able to at least kind of evenly trade, but you can't get the spike on site, and you're on map point now if you're SAD Esports.
Oh, that's so tough for Nightblood Gaming. I was wondering, like, okay, they see the Viper spit there. We already see Alem starting to take a little bit of space towards A. Why is the spike all the way on to B side? And the call happens a little bit too late. Just over 20 seconds into the round, despite the fact that SAD Esports had already pushed out of the A site, already taken all that space, and they just had to run at them, hoping that they can find the timing there. I think it was just a little bit of not paying attention to that clock that really just put them under that time crunch. And even though the Viper's ultimate didn't find any kills, it was super impactful in making sure that happened.
Yeah, it just stops any plays from happening at B, at least from front. Top flash coming through, 2Z for 1, but Hunter Series also in supply of support. Tags onto 1, but nothing more. So we got a 4v4. Health pool's a little bit low. Tess has an opportunity to possibly still play for this orb, but Herbs throws out one more blindside and says, not so fast.
Okay, things are kind of balanced here. 2 ultimates, though, taken off the board. SAD Esports really looking at getting that map number 3. Quinn just getting so much space for free, and it looks like the crunch this time leading towards A. The spike is already over here, so we're not going to have that post-round shenanigans at the end of the day as the Hunter Series comes through.
Teleporting away is Ferbsa, but again, look at the long lurk around the back. Caleb just needs to keep the focus forward here. This should be free for win. He's on the corner. We don't have to force this gunfight. We don't have to force this gunfight. Wins there for free, but NBG still come away 2 for 1, and now the defense has to rotate from the other side of the map.
And keep in mind, too, Quinn being able to get that space onto mid allowed that flank to just be perfect. So even if the gunfight didn't win, SAD Esports, they had to take that one. And oh my goodness me, the SWAT has arrived.
Now it's down just to win. He's going to take his battleground right here. First shot's good. Paranoia. Oh, it should land. Couple of spam shots are out. Teleports back across into the site. Benji has no utility left. It's all about the contact. Start cover out. We're trusting the shorty.
Oh, we trusted the shorty, all right.
Are you kidding me? It's a 1v1 between shotguns. And Benji says, put that away, clown. I'll take the map. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. What a way for the second map to end. Unbelievable. Just down to the shorties inside of a smoke just beside the spike. Time ticking down. And you can't fault Quinn for trying that because it's a little bit more unconventional. Honestly, if you catch them by surprise, should be able to win that. But I really have to just shout out SAD Esports on this map. Their adaptation on the defense for just getting absolutely dominated on mid from Nightblood Gaming, whether they were on the attack, whether or not they were on the defense, SAD Esports had an answer. And it worked out for them to be able to convert a lot more of these rounds. And honestly, when they just focus on the sites, do what they need to do, things looked perfect. And on top of that too, Ferbsa was starting to come alive again. We got to see Ferbsa turn it up a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
Which means that SAD Esports are going to be a lot more confident as we are looking at that map number 3 bind.
That's fun. Expect to see your Tejos coming through right over your right shoulder there, Mark. I think that's the facial expression most of us had at the end of that little shorty 1v1. Oh, goodness. What a matchup this has been. Heck of a way to reignite the final stretch here of Valorant Challengers North America. Like I said, it's fine. You got to test all. We'll step away for a break. Don't go anywhere. More Valorant right after this.